Hi, welcome to our series of conversations, which are to impart little nuggets of information, conversations with professionals that work within the field of pain and fatigue, covering aspects like sleep and breathing disorders, and sharing a bit of knowledge, but also conversations with past clients of ours who have done aspects like sleep and breathing disorders, and sharing a bit of knowledge, but also conversations with past clients of ours who have done well and shared what they've learnt and how they've improved over time. So we hope you can take something away. As I say, just little nuggets of information that we want to share with you. And so enjoy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our conversations. And today I am so privileged to be talking to Catherine. Catherine, who is our Business Development, HR and Compliance Manager here at Vitality 360. And she's kindly going to share some very personal information, well, maybe not so personal information, but lived experience, and the skills that she also brings to our team, not only with her business head on, but also the lived experience. So Catherine, do you want to introduce a little bit and share a few little nuggets with us today?
Sure, yes. I like the sound of my job title. They sound very fancy. Um,
But you are.
well, it's interesting because talking about autism, I sometimes wonder because it's three jobs in one, it's three job titles in one, and I do wonder sometimes whether my neurodiverse brain is wired that it can somehow do that. Anyway, that's just off the top of my head. Yes, so I was diagnosed with ME/CFS 20 odd years ago, 22 years ago, maybe, when really very little was known about it at that time. And I subsequently being diagnosed with autism probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So was in my late 40s, so as a late diagnosed woman. So yeah, so I've got both of those aspects that I can bring to the
Mm.
team.
Okay. And so was that quite a surprise, or did that all make sense to you once you'd had that diagnosis?
The
The
autism,
new, yeah.
yeah. Um, it was this huge surprise at that time, even though it was only relatively short time ago. Um, there wasn't the awareness that there is emerging now around how autistic traits manifest or can
Mm.
manifest in women and girls. So when it was first suggested to me, I just thought in terms of the stereotypical kind of male presentation and thought, oh no, I need to be sort of bouncing off the walls or, not socially able or, all the sort of
Mm.
stereotypes. And then I watched a film made by the National Autistic Society on this topic of women and girls, and they listed a number of uh, traits, and I thought, ooh,
Mm.
interesting. And at that time, you could get a diagnosis referral through the National Autistic Society. Their waiting list full now, paid for kindly by my dad, because I just knew that I needed to know. I just needed to know. I
Mm.
just thought I like a diagnosis and I like to have a label. Yeah, and sure enough, um, after quite a lengthy process, my mum came with me because that's quite helpful. They like someone who knows you well. I guess could also answer childhood questions.
Mm.
I mean, it's a bit odd because they give you the diagnosis, but then there's nothing much else with it. It's not sort of
Mm.
what
Mm.
you have to work out what that means.
Mm. For
But
you.
yeah, the
Yeah.
final piece of the jigsaw, I think, is again
Yeah.
a bit of a cliche, but that is absolutely resonates strongly with my
Mm.
experience. It was like,
Mm.
oh my goodness, that explains a lot.
Mm. Mm. Yes, and that's that's really helpful to understand. And we're often talking with clients about understanding ourselves and noticing quite a lot. You've written a brilliant blog, which if nobody's read it yet, it's on the Vitality 360 website. So that's absolutely fantastic. And I think in that you also hint at how everybody's different, and
Mm.
you know, you've just mentioned there how, you know, learning about yourself, and I just wondered if you've, since the diagnosis, developed some strategies or some insights that are particularly helpful for you, bearing in mind obviously everybody is different, but things that you've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I say, it's very much maybe the metaphor is better to say there's several jigsaw pieces that you just keep discovering and fitting in and working out, as it were. So it's sort of a lifelong process, and with a late diagnosis as well, you are really reframing your whole kind of life story and narrative. So it's quite profound, quite a significant journey to go on, should we say.
Mm.
And for me, very positive, because it has brought more awareness, as you say, and then more, it's kind of like not pathologizing myself, seeing it's a depersonalization. It's like, oh, this is how my brain is wired.
Mm.
um Whereas I spent most of my life sort of feeling bad and wrong, or being shamed, or
Mm.
judged, or just feeling incompetent in some way. So yes, I probably in that regard, in terms of strategies, certainly understanding that I have dyscalculia, which is like dyslexia but with numbers.
Mm.
So and I couldn't understand it, because as a child I was in top stream O level
Mm.
for every single other subject, and I started in maths O level, expected to do O levels to do well, da 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 da. And then I just kept dropping and dropping and
Mm.
dropping and dropping until I ended up in, I think we had 4 streams, and it was I just about scraped CSE. So it was a really odd, but even
Mm.
then, none of the education system was really primed to go, I wonder what's going on here. This is a bit strange. So I guess that's a huge strategy, because now, particularly in this role, amongst my team and my line manager, it's just very open and
Mm.
transparent. And that then means there can be a different way, different level of expectation about what I'm asked to do. So it's not that I'm not asked to do things with figures, being in HR, but um, I'll be able to say, well, that I find this difficult, or I
Mm.
don't understand, or just in a really clean way,
Mm.
and other people check it.
Mm. Fabulous. So sharing your insights with others, and particularly in employment, I imagine.
Mm.
So for other people, perhaps working with their employers, and you know, with certain challenges, we've always talked about how important it is to have open communication, and that sounds like it's been something that's really helped you.
Yeah, and it's been gradual. It wasn't like I got my diagnosis and then sort of rocked up at work and told everybody. I'm still quite measured about it. I think that's probably
Mm.
wise. And it's only very recently that it's become more widely known in our team. Initially, it was just my line manager who knew. So
Mm.
you have to take it at your own pace, and of course, only each person can know that.
Mm.
Um, but things like now I have a much better understanding of the kind of working environment that I need, and having the diagnosis gives me a context to have that conversation.